Saiyan Rose Goku Black.
In a dimension that no one can enter, there was a person, a being, a deity known as a legend, the one who would save the omniverse from chaos and bring peace to all that exists, the warrior who was chosen to become a supreme god. His name is unknown to many, and very few truly know who he really is. The person who was chosen as the guardian of everything, Son Goku. It has been decillions of years since I have been in here, and during all that time, my powers have increased in unimaginable ways. My power reached such a point that this dimension was nothing, thought the Saiyan as he walked through the dimension. I wonder how Vegeta is doing. Is he still a god of destruction, or has he retired? The Saiyan, saying that, felt nostalgic, remembering those times. How I wish I could have a fight against him again. I bet he got much stronger in these millions of years that I haven't seen him, said a very excited Saiyan, thinking about how strong his rival would be right now. But quickly his joy disappeared when he remembered that he could not leave that dimension. And with a tone of disappointment, he said, "Well, I'll have to wait for the day I get out of here. In the meantime, I'll be training my forms." And so the Saiyan began training to forget what he said. But what the Saiyan didn't know was that something was going to happen very soon. Meanwhile, in a multiverse, more specifically in the palace of the King of Everything, you could see how two girls were training while one person was giving directions to the two. "Come on, insects, can't you handle that tiny weight?" said a very proud person and well known to all. "But he tripled our weight, Master Vegeta," said a tired Chothali. "It's true, we barely got used to the previous ones, and now he triples the weight?" Miku said, complaining and tired. "Shut up! If you want to be queens of everything, you'll have to do those trainings. Or don't you want to be as strong as me?" said an angry Vegeta, but proud of how strong he was. "Yes, but I don't think we can be as strong as you, Master Vegeta," said a Miku, knowing very well that it would be impossible. "My sister is right, you are already too strong. You are even considered one of the strongest kings in the entire Omniverse," said Chothali, trying to reason with the Saiyan Prince. "Don't say nonsense. I still need to surpass many kings of everything, along with the gods of everything. And also Kakarot's bug." A determined Vegeta said he wanted to surpass all those people. "Now that you mention it, Master Vegeta, who is Kakarot?" I asked a confused Miku. Vegeta crossed his arms and replied, "Kakarot is my eternal rival." Chothali, upon hearing that, asked, "Is he also a king of everything?" Vegeta smiled and asked the two of them, "Do you know the legend of the guardian of everything?" Both of them nodded at Vegeta's question. "Yes, we know it. It's a very well-known legend throughout the Omniverse. But why do you ask, Master Vegeta?" Miku said, "You're welcome, but do you know the name of the guardian of everything?" Vegeta asked to see if they knew. "The legend never mentioned his name," said Chothali, trying to remember if his name was mentioned. "So you don't know. Apparently the legend forgot your name, Kakarot." Vegeta thought, mocking his rival. Vegeta started laughing when he saw that his rival's name was completely forgotten. But he was pulled out of his thoughts by a question. "Do you know your name, Master Vegeta?" asked a curious Miku. Vegeta crossed his arms and replied, "I know your name, brat," said Vegeta. The girls, upon hearing the answer, were intrigued and asked Vegeta what his name was. The two girls liked that legend because it was a story about a mortal who went through many things, but all of that led him to become a deity. "His name is Son Goku." Vegeta said simply, "It's Goku." The two blue-haired girls said it at the same time. "That's the name of the guardian of everything." Vegeta said, "And how do you know that is his name?" Miku asked, now very curious. Because Son Goku is Kakarot, Vegeta said as if it were very obvious. The two girls were shocked to hear that their master's only eternal rival is the guardian of everything. Wait, no, is it just a legend? Said Achothali, surprised by such a revelation. It's not a legend as you say. Kakaroto was the weakest low-class warrior of all, but he became the strongest mortal in my native multiverse, he said, a slightly proud Vegeta about how far his rival had come. That's what the legend says, but the legend also says that he is a kind, gentle, good-hearted, and very affectionate person, right? I ask a curious Chothali, as I recall that part of the legend. Yes, exactly as you said, Insect. That personality made him become the best friend of the king of all, of my home multiverse, Vegeta said, remembering what happened in that era. The girls, upon hearing that, were surprised. Wow, it was the only thing they could say. The two of them began to admire the Guardian more, but they also began to think about how he looked and how they would act if he appeared. Vegeta, who saw that they were very distracted in their thoughts and not training, gave them a shout that scared them a lot. "Start training, brats!" I shouted, an angry Vegeta, while looking at the girls. "Yes," shouted the two blue-haired girls. That's the dimension of the Guardian. Goku was in Ultra Instinct Phase 4. The power emanating from the Saiyan was immense, so much power that there were traces of energy throughout the dimension, but that was not his ultimate transformation. I will try to use the Kaioken in this phase, thought the Saiyan before letting out a great war cry and saying, "Kaioken for 1000! A gigantic red aura completely covered the Saiyan. An aggressive power and a calm power had combined into one. I did it! Shouted the Saiyan with joy. It seems he has mastered the Kaioken perfectly. They no longer hurt me as much in my transformations, thought the Saiyan while looking at his body. Note, the limit of the Kaioken will be 1000. After that, Goku transformed back and went to eat, since using so much concentration made him hungry. Goku, while eating, began to think about something specific. My tail came back when I released the Ultra Instinct Phase 2 that time. I wonder why that happened. Well, it doesn't matter. At least I gained more power thanks to the tail. And so the Saiyan kept eating without caring about the matter anymore. Meanwhile, at Vegeta's palace, a confrontation between two girls and a prince could be seen. "Come on, insects, you still haven't handled that tiny weight?" said Vegeta, mocking his students. Vegeta had transformed into Super Saiyan Blue Phase 2. "He's too powerful," said a frustrated Miku, unable to land a hit on the Saiyan. "I wonder how Son Goku was able to fight on par with Master Vegeta," said Achothali while trying to strike Vegeta. Vegeta, who was standing with his arms crossed and dodging the attacks from Miku and Chothali, was able to hear the question. For him, it was time to answer. "He was able to fight against me thanks to his immense will and fighting spirit." "What do you mean, Master Vegeta?" Miku asked, who was also trying to land a blow on Vegeta. Even if he was seriously injured or thrown to the ground, he would always get back up, no matter how he felt, to the point of sacrificing himself for the entire universe. Vegeta said, and after a kick sent the two girls to the ground, and with a piercing voice pointing at them, he said, "That's what you girls should have if you want to become stronger." The two, upon seeing that their teacher was scolding them, stood up and with all their strength went to attack him. "That's the spirit, insects!" he shouted, a happy Vegeta when he saw that his students finally got their act together. And so, on that day, they didn't stop training, and that is how they trained for several weeks. Miku and Chothali increased their powers, and Vegeta was telling them more about Goku. But one day arrived, a day when the Omniverse was in danger. Many of the kings of the whole were warned. Among them was Vegeta. "What's wrong, Master Vegeta?" The two little blue ones said worriedly. "Look over there," said Vegeta, pointing in a certain direction. The two focused on the place where their teacher pointed, only to feel an overwhelming presence, a dark presence that far surpasses any king of the world they have known. His power is gigantic." A terrified Miku said this to her teacher. "You can only feel pure evil from that being." A scared Chothali said this to her teacher. I don't think even all the kings of this whole sector can take him on. Wow! The two girls shouted in fear and surprise upon hearing that from their teacher. Well, after a while, many kings from everywhere arrived where that power was felt. Wow, it seems my dinner has arrived, said the person who radiated the enormous evil power. And you, who or what are you? Said one of the kings of all things very seriously. The subject or being, upon hearing that question, could only begin to laugh. Ha 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 ha! What is so funny? Shouted the king of all things. The being stopped laughing just to speak. Nothing, just that I was amused that an inferior being has the right to ask me that. But since they are all going to die anyway, I will answer your insignificant question. I was formed by the fusion of many kings of everything who desired power, along with absorbing the evil of millions of multiverses. I am perfection. I am unparalleled. I am the only one who can be the supreme God of all that is known. All the kings of everything, upon hearing what that being said, could only feel hatred and anger when listening to such stupidity. You fucking wretch! Do you want the Guardian to appear to destroy you?